Hey guys, my name is Dave Duford. I'm the owner of Final Expense Agent Mentor, and on this YouTube channel, I help people like you with your sales-related questions and how to achieve success in selling whatever it is that you're selling. So the purpose and topic of today's video is how to maximize your results in sales, and I wanted to highlight specifically 3 different things that you can do to give you the best results. I'm a big believer in the Pareto system, or the Pareto principle, I should say. And essentially what that means is that 80% of your results come from 20% of your efforts or investments. And there's a lot of different ways in which you can improve sales. And some are major, some are minor. And based on my experience in training insurance agents since 2012, 2013, I've noticed a lot of commonalities, a lot of trends that not just are unique to insurance salespeople, but also of all salespeople. So what I'd like to do in this video is just give you really the top 3 things that you can do to become better at selling whatever it is that you're selling, and immediately see ways that you can improve and get better results. So the first thing is great. The first thing is record your sales and prospecting calls. So how do you do that? Well, just take your iPhone, download a recorder app, stick it in your front pocket, and then just present like normal. Then set aside some time to review that sales call, whether that's on the road between appointments or on a designated time in which you do some self-improvement. You don't even have to get your sales manager involved if you'd prefer not to. If you simply just record what you do and listen back to it, you will see all sorts of things that you otherwise should know better about, but now can identify and improve them. So like, for example, I've done this a lot in my personal career. I've got a bunch of recordings I let my agents listen to improve on their own sales game. And one of the great things about listening to myself is I get to hear myself when I go ums and ahs, or when I hear my response to people's particular objections or concerns or questions. I may be too brash, or I see that I didn't quite address an opinion or concern that they have. And I just continued on that progression, of which eventually it lost me the sales deal. So just listening to yourself is just incredible, especially on prospecting calls. So whether you're not door knocking or if you're picking up the phone to set an appointment, I'm telling you, just listening to yourself make the call and listening to the response that the other person has on the other end of the line will be life-changing when it comes to actually getting better results in sales. So start doing that immediately. Set time to record prospecting calls, set time to record sales calls, and then set time to actually review it critically. Best thing you could do is get a notebook, write down the things that you say that you know that you should improve upon, and so you can walk away with maybe, even if it's 2 or 3 things that you can improve upon, and you do that on a regular basis, you're going to see big changes. Because again, there's always this gap between what we learn, the academic versus the experiential, and we've got to bridge that gap over time. And self-awareness and self-observation is one of the best ways to do it. Step number 2 is double your activity. Again, if you're unsatisfied with where you are as far as what your income is and whatever it is that you're selling, the truth of the matter is the vast majority of people I deal with are unsatisfied because they're just not seeing, they're not making the money they want to. But largely, it's not because of a lack of closing skills or a lack of presentation skills. In fact, a lot of people I talk to in sales will tell me, hey, everything I'm doing, when I get in front of a client, I'm pretty good at closing them. The problem is once you start digging a little bit more in depth, it's a lack of consistency. You may have a person who closes half the time in a presentation, which for whatever industry, let's say that's the average, but they're only doing half the amount of presentations that's necessary to realistically achieve the income goal that they want. So the biggest thing you can do is just double your production. If you're not happy with what you're making, change your mind. It's probably not the closing ratios. It's probably that you're not doing enough activity and consistently enough. Again, whether you sell on a one-call close basis or if there's a pipeline involved, you've always got to be feeding that pipeline consistently. You have to think ahead of when that sale will most likely come, how long your average sale is in the pipeline, and what you have to do to continuously keep and feed that pipeline full. Again, I've consulted with many salespeople in my days, and it's probably about 80 to 90% of the time the reason a salesperson struggles is simply not because of their closing skills. It's usually because on a presentation side, it's pre-qualification. That's a different subject. But when it comes to activity, it's because they're not doing enough. So do more. Really, it's simple, but I promise you, probably for about 8 out of 10 of you out there, that's a definite thing that you could do right away that will get you better results. Number 3 is to model top producer sales systems. So this to me is so important. You've got to surround yourself with salespeople that are your ideal, that you want to emulate, you want to duplicate what they do. Brian Tracy, great trainer, motivational speaker, time management guru, says that basically everything is learnable. And where one guy is now at the top of his field, he used to be at the bottom, and there was some discernible pathway to get to the top. And the thing is because everything's learnable, there's no reason why you can't develop something similar to what the top producer has that you can implement in your own life. A lot of people struggle because they're not surrounded by successful agents or successful salespeople. And they don't know exactly what to emulate. Many times, sometimes the difference between what a successful top producer will tell you as to how to run your business versus what a manager would do who's not necessarily in the field or maybe has never been in the field, and what they tell you to do is completely different. So I'm of the persuasion that if you're struggling on some level with your production, if you're struggling on some level with not having success, find somebody who is. It may take you going online, getting involved in online groups, doing some YouTube video searches to figure out who's involved in your sales industry, who's doing it successfully, maybe joining a membership or a mastermind group to just surround yourself with successful people, because it's not just duplicating the system, it's also duplicating the mentality that the people that are successful have too. And again, the more you surround yourself with that kind of success, the more likely that you'll be able to find ways to systematically implement those same strategies in your own business. So to conclude, top 3 ways you can make a big difference in your sales results. Number 1, start recording your sales calls. Start recording your prospecting calls. A lot of the questions, the answers to the questions you have will be laid out in front of you without even referencing or having somebody to come in and try to constructively criticize. You'll see where you can make improvements right away, and it's one of the most useful self-observation, self-improvement mechanisms you can do. Number 2, double your activity. It's very high odds you're just not doing enough activity. You're not doing enough presentations. You're not keeping your pipeline full enough. You've got to implement and consistently implement enough sales activity on a weekly and daily basis in order to hit your numbers that you ideally want, because it's probably not, you just don't know 50 or 100 closing techniques that work. It's not about closing. It's about activity and being competent and being able to help the people that you see. And number 3, always take the best example of what works in your business and model that behavior in and of itself. What kind of activity are they doing? What kind of products are they representing? What is their mentality that these top producers have? Figure out what that is and then simply go and emulate it. My name is Dave Duford. If you want to know a little bit more about myself, I run a final expense insurance agency nationally. I recruit agents to sell what's called burial insurance. It's a pretty cool product. It's a one-call close, high commission product. It's not very technical, so it's very activity and numbers driven. The kind of person that's attracted to final expense doesn't want to invest a lot of time in learning the intricacies of a particular product. They just want something where they can help regular people. It's a mass market product. It's not a white collar product like a lot of insurance sales is all about. So you get to help a lot of everyday type of people that really need your help and really appreciate it. If you'd like to learn more about how that works and get some more information on that, it's really easy. You can just subscribe to this YouTube channel. I usually do some sort of video on final expense several times a week. Also, like this video. Leave a comment if you have any questions about how it works. And then you can also go to my website. It's feagentmentor.com, and you can just go from there and check out my stuff. My name is Dave Duford. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.